Mobile mechanised warfare just doesn't mean tanks and motorised infantry. The supporting arms also need to be able to keep up to maintain the momentum of the attack. One common vehicle was the Vesper, a 10.5 cm self-propelled artillery vehicle on the Panzer II chassis. They've been available in the game before, but now they're in plastic rather than resin and metal. Join me as we take a look. There might be a surprise in store. This is GBX-192, the Vesper Artillery Battery Platoon box for Flames of War. The box contains 4 vehicles, enough to build a full battery. As I said, this is a plastic kit, replacing earlier resin and metal kits for mid and late war. Combat experience in Poland and France showed the standard German light field howitzer was effective, but Blitzkrieg required the guns to keep pace with motorised infantry and panzer divisions. At the same time, enough Panzer III and IVs were entering service that the Panzer II was withdrawn from frontline duties. Panzer II was now too lightly armed and armoured as a tank, but the chassis and drivetrain was still sound. Alket designed the Vesper, a self-propelled 10.5 cm field howitzer mounted in a lightly armoured open casemate on the Panzer IIF chassis. The gun was mounted at the rear, with the engine moved forward beside the driver. Crew was 5 men, the commander, driver and 3 gunners. There was stowage for 40 rounds of ammunition. Vesper entered service in 1943, proving so successful that a total of more than 670 were built. The majority of Panzer II chassis production was now dedicated to producing them. Along with the heavier Hummel, Vespers served as artillery battalions with panzer divisions. If we look at the back of the box, there's 2 images of the completed kit and an exploded assembly diagram. You can see this kit can build the 10.5 cm Vesper, but also the 7.5 cm Marder II SP anti-tank gun. This mounts the Pak 40 gun on the Panzer II chassis. The box contains parts to build 4 vehicles, plus a decal sheet. There's no unit cards. These are available as separate purchase items in the Berlin German unit card pack. Let's look at the plastic. The parts come on a single sprue with 2 frames. Parts are well moulded and detailed, up to Battlefront's usual quality. If you've seen my review of the Panzer II plastic kit, you'll recognise this frame. It's the common frame with the lower hull, hull rear, tracks and stowage. These are exactly the same as the Panzer II plastic kit. The only detail I'll go in and have a look at here is the tread plate inside the lower hull, where the fighting compartment will be. There's some nice pattern detail here. It's present in the Panzer II kit as well, but just not visible in the completed tank. The second frame has the specific parts for the Vesper and Marder. You can see there's 2 different hulls, 2 guns, and even the hull sides are different. As far as I can see, the Marder parts are on one side and the Vesper parts are on the other. This is the Vesper hull. You can see the raised driver's compartment extending well forward on the front glacis plate. Detail is in strong relief, with the driver's hatches and tools providing plenty of visual interest. The left and right hull sides are separate pieces. Lining these all up correctly during assembly might be a challenge. The gun is the 10.5 cm light field howitzer Model 18, fitted with a muzzle brake. This reduces the recoil when the gun fires, reducing wear on the chassis and suspension. The gun is moulded as a single piece with the trunnion and gun mount. In kits like the Hummel, these are all separate parts that need to be aligned during assembly. Being moulded as a single piece will significantly simplify the build. Similarly, the front of the casemate and the gun mantlet are also a single piece. Again, that's fewer parts to align during construction. Lastly, for the Vespa is the hull rear and back of the casemate, all as a single part. Stowage here looks like a gun cleaning kit, but a bit of research seemed to indicate they're actually artillery aiming stakes. But I'm no howitzer surgeon. I could be wrong. The boxy part here is the engine exhaust. The Vespa's hull is actually longer than the standard Panzer II hull, and this kit accomplishes that with this rear hull piece. It extends the hull backwards, making it longer. This is the Marder hull. Instead of the extended driver's compartment of the Vespa, this retains the driver's position from the Panzer II. There's also some engine deck detail from the tank here too, although this will be obscured by a shroud piece in the finished kit. There's some good tread plate detail on the fenders. The Pak 40 gun is moulded together with the trunnion and gun mount, the same as the howitzer. Again, this will make fitting this very simple. The gun has the prominent muzzle brake and some sight and control details, good enough for 15mm. Next to that is the MG42AA machine gun. This is common for the Marder and the Vespa kits. There's a small mounting slot for this on the right-hand side casemate piece. The long barrel of the 7.5cm gun needed support, and this part is the gun travel lock. This part looks like the spring-loaded version that could be automatically released just by elevating the gun barrel. The Marder casemate sides are smaller than those of the Vespa. There are guides to aid correct positioning of these moulded onto the upper hull. Outside there's tool stowage and there's some interior detail as well. Not sure how much of that will show up in the finished kit, but nice to have. The mantlet is a single piece, with supporting side wings to attach to the casemate. The rear hull piece has an engine exhaust, but it's a different pattern than the Vespa. An engine crank handle is stowed next to it. This last piece is the rear deck. It fits over the engine deck on the rear hull. There's some keying with the raised deck parts to help locate this correctly. So that's the parts for Battlefront's plastic Vespa and Marder II kit. It builds up into a nice little kit. Detail is excellent, very good for a 15mm kit. Parts quality and moulding is up to their usual high standards. The engineering is great, utilising a common hull and track frame from the tank kit with an insert to lengthen the rear of the Vespa is very clever. This plastic kit will be able to replace the earlier mid and late war resin and metal version. You'll just need the unit cards. And having the Marder on the same sprue gives you a tank hunter option as well. So, how will Vespa work on the table? The Berlin German Vespa artillery battery is a tank unit with the Stormtrooper special rule. Motivation is a fearless 3+, but the counterattack rating is 6. I don't care if Vespa does have a machine gun mount, charging into close assault with an open-topped artillery vehicle is a stupid idea. And with a skill rating of 3+ veteran, the crews would know this. Their assault rating is a 5+. They are careful, hit on a 4+. Vespa is only very lightly armoured, top and side of 1 and a nice 0 for the open top. Perfect for chucking a grenade into. Tactical move is 10 inches or 25 centimetres, with a 3+ cross. The Panzer II chassis is good, but these are thin tracks and a slightly underpowered engine. The 10.5cm howitzer has a 72-inch bombardment range with anti-tank 3 and a 3+ firepower. It has the forward firing special rule. This makes sense since the gun only has limited traverse. It can also fire a smoke bombardment. The gun can also fire direct fire with a 24-inch or 60cm range, moving and halted rate of fire 1, anti-tank 9 and a 2+ firepower. The gun is brutal, so infantry and gun teams will be re-rolling successful saves. But it is slow firing, so direct firing on the move gets a +1 to hit penalty. The limited traverse is an issue here too, so it is forward firing. but you can do direct fire smoke, so you can still try and blind enemy units with direct fire smoke too. The machine gun is pretty standard, with halted rate of fire 3 and moving of 2. So, the Vespa is a support choice for German formations. Here it is on the new Berlin German formation on forces. You can take just the one battery of Vespa, either 3 or 6 guns. If you want more artillery, you can double down for a second battery of towed 10.5cm guns, or take some 15cm Hummel SP guns to keep things mobile. After that, there's only Nebelwerfers. So that's the plastic Vespa for German forces in Flames of War. It's a great little kit. The level of detail and engineering are up to Battlefront's usual standard. Good to see a plastic kit replacing resin and metal. Simplifying the gun and trunnions into a single piece is a nice touch, as is the inclusion of the Marder variant in the same kit. I'm sure a lot of players will be keen to have a mobile 7.5cm tank destroyer in plastic too. Do your German forces need some mobile fire support, or do you plan on adding some Marders? Let us know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.